So in 2023, which is when we have data for, we did hundreds of thousands of inspections and issued hundreds of thousands of housing violations to landlords. We'll take landlords to court if they're really negligent. Sometimes we'll have to do emergency repairs and bill the landlord. But basically, we're trying to ensure that the apartments that New Yorkers can already afford, that they're already comfortable in, at his home, that they're getting the repairs they need and the livability they need. And shout out to our inspectors. Heat season's about to start. They're going to be out there making sure people have heat. So also we preserve and create affordable housing. So people see housing preservation, they often think of historic preservation, but that's not really what we do. What we're doing is trying to preserve affordability. So let's say it's an older rent stabilized building. Tenants can afford the rent, but the landlord is not making repairs, can't afford to make repairs, or it's a small homeowner and they have rent out a unit upstairs, but they don't have enough money coming in to make repairs. We offer loans and direct subsidy to people to be able to fix up to buildings without raising rents, or actually with putting new obligations on them to keep rents low in exchange for us, helping them get solar panels on the roof, fix ancient pipes, in some cases convert low-income rental tenants to homeowners with some of our programs. So that's the preservation side. And then so that's like hundreds of thousands of units have been preserved in the past decade or so. And then we financed the creation of tens of thousands of new affordable homes. So when we directly subsidize, it means it's 100% affordable. It's not usually not one of these mixed market rate and affordable things. And these can look like anything from supportive housing, which I think some of the organizations here are definitely dealing with, on-site services for folks. Often they're coming on DSS referral from shelter. To more of a just rental programs. We have programs exclusively for seniors. We have programs that have a more affordable co-op model. And then lastly, we're engaging New Yorkers to help build and sustain neighborhood strength and diversity. So what does that look like? We have neighborhood plans. Let's say it's a neighborhood where we own a lot of land, where the city has a lot of land to develop for housing. But in developing that housing, we're not talking about street safety, about trash collection, about how the park's in a bad shape, and we're about to add a bunch of residents there without focusing on those things. We try to make sure that we're holistically bringing other agencies to the table. Creating neighborhood plans, this is what we did in Brownsville. That was really focused on arts and culture and street safety improvement. And we were able to leverage the fact that we were going to develop a bunch of vacant lots in the neighborhood to get those other agencies to the table, things like that. We do a lot of education outreach about housing rights and resources with tenants and with homeowners. So if you'd like to connect with me about that, we have people who would love to organize a resource fair or get an HPD rep out at an event you're hosting to connect people with housing resources. And then lastly, when we're doing affordable housing development on a public site, it's a vacant lot or it's an NYPD parking lot that they agreed to leave, things like that. We make sure that before we're even putting out to the developers, like here's an opportunity to build, that what they have to respond to, the RFP they have to respond to, is informed by what the community asked for. So that's particularly with the ground floors, right? Like there hasn't been a fresh supermarket that opened here in years, or a pharmacy or a daycare, things like that. We work with the public to make sure that the RFPs we're putting out have to include the things the community asked for. All right, so next slide. Okay, so brief icebreaker. No one's had coffee and food, so